name is Chris, and today we're going to talk about the systematic review that we did on the optical and mechanical properties of monolithic Y-TZP stabilized tetragonal zirconia. Since last decade, and with the expansion of CAD/CAM to more clinicians, we're seeing this material as a framework material for a lot of fixed prosthetics and restorations due to the beauty of the great mechanical properties that zirconia offers. But due to the opaqueness and not sufficient translucency to use it as a monolithic restoration, we have always opted to add layers of ceramics to the zirconia. But it has been shown that layered zirconia is more prone to fracture and delamination. Reasons being differences on the coefficient of thermal expansion, the contraction of the porcelain during the firing process, and the overload and fatigue between those interfaces of those layers of the ceramics. So, since 2013, there has been different modifications on the molecular level of the monolithic zirconia to try to improve those optical properties. But as we can later see in the study, is that when we try to improve those properties, there will be a proportional decrease in the mechanical properties of the zirconia. So for the methods for this systematic review, I used the Optical research strategy that is explained in my poster, and the results that out of 1,367 articles, we choose 12 to carry analysis for this systematic review according to my inclusion criteria, also explained in my poster. In the discussion, I tried to recollect the most important factors that I learned through the articles. In the first paragraph, I talked about the mechanical properties, and I think the main factor being the phenomenon called transformation hardening phase. Zirconia goes through three phases depending on the temperature that it goes through, being the cubic, tetragonal, and monoclinic phase. In the last transformation phase, there's a volumetric expansion of 4% that will create that crack prevention that zirconia is very known for. And for the rest of the discussion, we talk about the different modifications implemented on zirconia. For example, the Y-TZP. When we add more Y-TZP, Y-TZP is an oxide stabilizer that can prevent that polymorphic transformation that we talked about and let zirconia stay in its cubic phase. And cubic crystals are larger than tetragonal crystals, so when the light is transmitted through restoration, it will go through lesser boundaries and lesser porosities, and for that reason, it will appear more translucent. Also, if we increase the sintering temperature and timing and increase the thermal tempering rate, the zirconium oxide grades will acquire a larger grain size that will translate to higher translucency, but there will be a proportional decrease in the flexural strength and fractional resistance. And so on different modifications. And for the conclusion, we stated that most authors agreed that monolithic Y-TZP stabilized tetragonal zirconia has great optical and mechanical properties, but as long as we try to improve those optical properties for aesthetic reasons, there will be a proportional decrease in the mechanical side. And to also invite my colleagues to do an analysis on the hydrothermal degradation at low temperatures to which the material can be exposed to, and to also interpret these results with cautions, and to learn more about this material to hopefully in the future use monolithic restorations of zirconia in aesthetic zones. Thank you.